What's up, Planeswalkers? Theric6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. I do, of course, hope you head to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal, and it helps support the show. And if you use my promo code before May 20th, you'll be entered in to win one of 3 sweet Richard Kane Ferguson playmats. Once again, all you have to do is use my promo code. Now, today, we're doing something a little bit different. We are going back into the Mythic climb with Bolas, but I have been playing almost literally nothing but Control. Esper and Grixis Control. And I've not been doing well. And I think a large reason for that is because of how tilted, and it might not seem like it, but how tilted I've made the main deck to be against Control, to fight against aggro. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to live make a few changes that I think will help the deck out in facing several Control decks, while hopefully not giving up against the several aggro decks that we're still going to see. So I think first things first is that we have more removal than we need. Because of the fact that we're just running up against a wall of Control in best of 3, there's not really a reason to run this board wipe in the main deck, especially considering our removal that also hits Planeswalkers does still hit creatures. So first things first is we're definitely going to get rid of these 2 widespread brutalities. And typically what I do when I'm making modifications for Arena, just because of the fact that it's difficult to actually put a card back in, is I throw it on the sideboard just so it's there until I feel like I'm completely done. And I want to actually increase, and once again I really wish that Wizards gave us a way to increase here. I want to increase the amount of card draw I have. I'm also planning on increasing the amount of counter spells. I actually already did after a few practice games against Control where I kind of wasn't doing anything. I'd already taken down a little bit of the removal and things like that. But I feel as if I want to increase the amount of draw, and I feel as if since I'm also going to be increasing the amount of counter spells, I'm going to want this to be instant speed draw. So I'm going to add additional Chemist's Insight. I still do like Tamiyo's Epiphany because it can get you out of a really tough spot because of that Scry 4, and it works so nicely with God-Eternal Kefnet. So we're going to go throw that in, and I do believe an additional Ionize is helpful, right? So now we have to say, okay, what other cards are we playing that is essentially only good against aggro? And the answer is Enter the God-Eternals. Now, in the early days of the new meta, when, you know, some people were trying to play super janky decks, and some people were trying to just beat the janky decks by playing these really aggressive decks, Enter the God-Eternals was fantastic, and I still think it's a fantastic card. However, it isn't actually very good against Control because of the fact that it requires a creature for you to hit. So because of that, I'm going to cut it down to at least 2. Now, it's possible that I should cut it down to 1 because of the fact that I've been almost entirely playing against Control. However, the fact that it's so incredibly strong against these aggro decks is the reason why I'm going to keep it at 2. Now, I should also mention that I did cut the mana base down a little bit. I have been flooding out a decent bit. I think literally every game that I played before I dropped it down to 25, I flooded out, and it contributed to the losses, let's say. So I went ahead and cut down to 25. The mana base potentially can struggle from it, but so far we haven't had any issues for being able to cast our spells based on their color requirements. So for right now, this is what the deck looks like. Search for Azcanta, I still think is the correct decision. I know a decent number of decks aren't playing it, at least the Grixis decks, and I think that's wrong. I think Search for Azcanta is fantastic. Thought Erasure is a staple. You play it in Esper and Grixis Control because of how powerful the card is. 2 Angrath Rampage, I think, is where I'm fine being. This is a card that's able to get rid of creatures if I have to, but what I've been using it for is Planeswalker removal, and it comes down early enough that I'm not going to fall super far behind. Narset, I went from 1 in the main deck to 2 because of how strong this card is against those Control decks. Now, obviously, she's not great against aggressive decks, but she also can divert resources to killing her when you're in those aggressive matchups, so in game 1, it's not too bad. Ionize, as I said, since we're going to be playing up against so many more Control decks, I'm going to include Ionize. And the reason I'm including Ionize and not something like Negate is because of the fact that Negate isn't as useful against the majority of decks all the time, whereas Ionize can hit any spell. It deals 2 additional damage that really doesn't matter for this deck. However, we decided to go with Ionize over Sabotage because of the colors required. I didn't want to push the deck a little bit too much and have a total of was that 5 cards that need triple blue or double blue? You know what? Actually, I'll go ahead and try Sinister Sabotage. And this is something I've done in the past when I'm testing. Is I will have an idea of the way that something will play out. And in the games, I will try my best to think of when I want one version over the other, right? So right now we have Ionize and Sinister Sabotage. Every time that I have one of those in my hand, I want to consider if I would prefer having the other one or if I would prefer not having the other one. And that can really get you in the mindset of, is this card actually better than the other alternatives? And being able to play with both is very helpful because you'll get a different spread of those situations. 3 Bedevil, instant speed, able to destroy a creature or planeswalker. It's good, right? It's pretty stable. I think having the 3 draw spells at 4 is very helpful. We still have 2 additional ones at 6, but being able to have mana open that we can either use for our counterspells or our Bedevils or our Contempts is very, very helpful, because we don't always necessarily want to be playing proactively against the control deck. Sometimes it is correct to play completely reactively as long as you're able to do other things, and that's really the reason why you want to play these Chemist's Insights as instant speed draw spells, so that you can wait to react and still have something to do if you aren't reacting to anything. God-Eternal Kefnet, I still think is a fantastic value card. It is a nice blocker, and it gives us a ton of value, even from just one turn of getting to use it. 2 Vraska's Contempt. I've been considering trimming this down and including an additional Nicol Bolas, but I'm not entirely sure. And the reason essentially is the fact that even though it does hit planeswalkers, it costs more than Bedevil does, and we're still facing primarily control decks, so the ability to be hitting like a bunch of creatures as well, especially large creatures, is less valuable. I do think for now I'm going to keep it at 2. I really just need to think whenever I see a Contempt, would I rather this card be something else? So right now we have 2 Boluses, Ravager Boluses, and I feel like this is probably fine, especially looking at our mana curve. We have a decent number of 4s here. Relatively flat mana curve, but it should be fine in a control deck like this. It's definitely a 2-for-1, but it's a card that I don't think I need more of in this deck. Eldritch Born, I think it's still fine as a 1-of. It's essentially dead against any token deck, any aggro deck, and I don't want too many cards that are just super dead. I think 2 God Eternals is fine. It's kind of a dead draw against a lot of control decks. Unfortunately, it gets better in the sideboard games against blue-black based control decks because of the fact that they're likely going to be bringing in Thief of Sanity. However, if they don't, then this card is still dead. So you typically are going to be taking them out. Now, this is a interesting lesson to be had here, is that if you know that they brought them in for Game 2, and there is a Game 3, you can bring them back in for Game 3 as an additional measure against that card, especially because of how powerful that Thief of Sanity is in the control matchups. You never want to have a Game 1 happen, then you sideboard for Game 2, and then you just ignore changing anything in the sideboard and clicking straight to playing the next game. You always should reevaluate what you have in your deck and your sideboard based on both games in its entirety and things that you maybe didn't see, but you really do expect based on how common something is. 2 Nicol Bolas Dragon Gods. I cut this down because it's pretty weak against the aggro decks, but very strong against the control decks. So this is one card that I'm thinking about increasing. Commence the Endgame is a fantastic draw spell, but I think it's fine as a 2-of. Liliana is good, but she's never been amazing for me. I still think that I like her as a 1-of. Same with Ugin. Ugin has been better than Liliana, so I'd be kind of inclined to go back to having a 2-0 split, Ugin over Liliana. But I haven't played enough with Liliana for me to really make that judgment. That said, Ugin's still fantastic. So I think what I'm going to do, since I do have one slot open, is get another Dragon God in here so that we can have a little bit more powerful oomph from our cards. Now, because we changed the main deck so much to fight against control, we want to make sure that our sideboard still has more than sufficient enough to deal with the aggressive decks that we are going to face. So we have Widespread Brutality, Cry the Canarium, Moment of Craving, Cast Down. Those are all for essentially aggro decks. Some of them, of course, are more for just mid-range decks. You know, the Cast Downs are really the only things. Well, Cast Downs and probably Duresses as well. But I think that is probably sufficient. And Unmoored Ego hasn't been fantastic to me just because of the fact that I haven't been facing very many Nexus decks. But you kind of need it there for Nexus. The additional duress has still been fine. If I were to change anything, I'm not going to change anything just yet. I need to play more games with the main deck to see what I need to change for the sideboard. But if I were to change anything, it would be the increasing the number of Moment of Cravings, possibly at the cost to either duress or negate somewhere. So I believe that this is what we're going to be looking like now. And I'm going to go and hop in some best of 3 games. And as I said, I've been just doing horribly recently, and it's essentially been against Control. The first game I played was against Esper Control today, and I did beat them. I think I beat them 2-0. Bew, I've seen you, Bew. I've seen you before. But every other game, we lost. I will play first. See, this is not a good hand because of the fact that we do nothing until turn 3, but we're on the play. So I guess I'll keep it. I've also been mulliganing very aggressively, and typically I won't keep a 4-land hand that has nothing until turn like 3 or 4, and that might just be incorrect. So this could be mono blue. It could just be control of some sorts. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Steam Vents tapped because I do have a Drowned Catacomb and I just get one of each down. Blue black, Dreadhorde Invasion. Okay. So that is going to be a card that can give me trouble. And as you can see, we've drawn nothing but lands. And we're on 25 lands. I have cut down. But sure, this is fine. Thought Erasure? Thought Erasure is nice to see. They might counter this with a Sabotage. Wizard's Retort. I didn't expect that. And we'll go ahead and just, since we have nothing to play, I'll go ahead and just put down a Watery Grave. So next turn, I can just play a Bolas. Not entirely sure what I would do with it, but I could play a Bolas. I'm going to play a Bolas and kill Kefnet. Alternatively, I could just Contempt Kefnet. So my Bolas is going to die to this, but I do have another Bolas. This doesn't really go away entirely. Goes, what, 3rd from the top, so that's 2. I think I do want to force them to kill my Bolas.
The whole of the multiverse will then defy.
And then getting my second Bolas out should still be oh, okay, should still be decent. I was really confused. I was like, you didn't put it in the graveyard? Why? So yeah, this should be second now, yeah. So I assume they're gonna kill Bolas here. Not really a reason not to. We went against Selesnya tokens. That was the one non-control deck, and we got completely destroyed. For what it's worth, I believe I lost 0-2, and both games were like super blowouts. So here they probably have another counterspell, just Hawkward. But smoke him if you got him. No, cool. So I do believe at this point I still want to use my Bolas to the best of his ability. Could die to a Contempt or something here, but that's totally fine. Nope, that's nice. So now I can start getting more draw value with this, as long as, of course, he doesn't die right now. And he dies. Unfortunate, but it's fine. And we're flooding, and the deck keeps flooding, and I'm fairly certain that this deck should not go down to 24 lands. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I guess during the sideboard, I'll double check my CMC, my average CMC in the deck. Interesting. Well, you're gonna die. I will Contempt this because it is cheaper, or because Bedell is cheaper.
How disappointing.
So he has 2 2/2s, one of which is going to become a 3/3.
Putrid, but effective.
Don't mind if I do.
My army.
You know what? I should have -4'd there.
And shine.
Yeah, I probably should have -4'd there. Yeah, should have -4 there for sure.
Waste not, want not.
Because now they gain 7, and Liliana dies. That was a mistake on my part for sure. You definitely want to try your best to know when you make mistakes. There's essentially no reason for me not to murder that. We're gonna Insight now. We're going to be bedeviling this for sure. But we're going to wait until their turn. Because we want to kill it when it's large. And take the most value off of it. We're going to be able to play Kefnet, and I won't be able to kill it outright. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is looking like just getting screwed because I didn't play Lonely on it correctly. Because now they can play Kefnet, and my Rampage doesn't do enough. What the fudge deck is this? Just a ton of lands, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm getting pretty mana flooded here. No reason to Angrath Rampage, they're just gonna sack this. So this is probably going to be just a loss. And I'm going to... Sure, I'm just going to stay in, essentially, to try and get as much information as possible. So this is a very strange blue-black mid-range deck. A little bit of zombie in there. A little bit of, like, counters on things. Bedevil, so I can kill this. I can also force them to sacrifice an artifact, for what it's worth. And I guess I might as well. Let's see, so if I kill this... Oh, no, I would need to have them sack the creature. Let's do that first, actually. This way I can... I'm going to lose this game, but I want to scout as much information as possible. Yep. And then I can go ahead and kill this. So I don't die. My opponent can go ahead and treasure map, and, like, get a draw, but I just want to see more of the deck. I guess I actually should have waited to cast Bedevil until their turn to see if they had anything else for God-Eternal. So bringing in cards for this deck. It's strange because they have creatures. Yeah, so I figured they were going to do that. They have creatures, but many of them wouldn't, like... I guess Kefnet's the only one who wouldn't die to End of the God-Eternals. Interesting, okay. So this is much more of a zombie deck than I had initially thought. So it's not a control deck, it's a zombie deck that has control elements. Alright, and once again, I'm going to pass to see if they reveal anything extra with Kefnet. So, sure. You should not reveal anything. Okay. Die. So this is an area in which Widespread Brutality is not technically as good as Ritual of Soot. So it's possible I should just be running Ritual of Soot. That said, against this deck, there's sufficient number of creatures, however, most of them won't die to Cry. Cast Down doesn't work on Kefnet. Seems that the sideboard doesn't do a fantastic job against this specific situation. I will bring in the one Widespread. And I believe the correct decision is to take out possibly a Rampage, but I actually think Rampage is still fine. Possibly an Eldest Reborn? Sure. I'm going first, so it might be correct to bring in Duress as well. Bring in Duress. What would I take out for Duress? Oh, Narset doesn't really seem very good in this matchup, actually. Because it doesn't seem like they're drawing anything. Okay. Okay. And now we wait for them. Now we play the waiting game. Oof. I had a lab meeting today. I'm essentially done with my take-home portion of my math exam. Then tomorrow I have to study for my in-class math exam, my math final. And then Thursday I take my math final. Woo! Play first, please. What is this? I, like, flooded out last game. Sure. No. So we get 2 Thought Erasure them, which is helpful. Alright, Thought Erasure to Thought Erasure. Seems decent. Well, gonna take their Thought Erasure, and then they just negate my second one, I suppose. No, they played the treasure map. Alright. I don't know why I've been forsaken. I guess we get rid of this. I mean, I could take it. Because I got double Chemist's Insight. Nah, I'll bump that. There's so little red that I need in this deck, even with the addition of Widespread Brutality. I'm gonna draw it anyway. Alright, so we can go ahead and Chemist's Insights on their end step. We have a treasure map, which is whatever. The insights, I think, are very important in this deck right now. Let's try the bottom. Decent. Didn't have to stop on their upkeep. Incorrect, in my opinion. I am willing to bet they're going to counter my insight. Glad I'm a betting man. Bolas. Unless this is something else, they can't counter this. This is non-creature spell. They do not have the requisite mana. Let's see if it goes through. Alright. Got them to discard something, which is helpful. Discard an island, sure. Scry to the bottom again. Looking for something. Cool. That's fantastic. Now we're going to game 3. And because I'm going second... Okay, they conceded. I was very scared. That scared the crap out of me, man. Oh, holy crap. Wait, I was at 4. Why did I only get 5? I should have gotten 2 wins for that. What? Right? No, yeah, I've been getting 2 wins. Beta 1113. This person is a fish. You cannot tell me otherwise. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. These are the hands I've been getting. It's either been like a bunch of lands and I still flood, or it's been like no lands in my opening hand. I'm going second too? Like, counterspells are just weaker going second. I think I have to mulligan that. This is a significantly better hand. I'm very glad I mulligan that. Missing a bit of black. Opponent on red, possibly on Ragro. Red-blue. On red-blue Ragro. So let's see. Are you on Drakes? You are on Phoenixes. Charter Course is Charter Course. Bolas is a blocker. Makes them discard. I can play Kefnet. It's honestly fine, I suppose. I mean, there's an argument to make to drop it like it's hot. But the fact that they have several Phoenixes, well, I do have to choose one. I don't have double black for this, so I'm going to just pop it. So I did technically help them, but the fact that they have 2 lands and a Phoenix in hand isn't fantastic for them. So yeah, so they're going to attack me with a Phoenix, sure. Go ahead and play this, and I think just getting Kefnet out is probably helpful. Bolas is probably a... So, the question here is, do I play Kefnet in hopes that I get value off of Kefnet? Or do I play Bolas knowing that they have to discard a card, and knowing that I can block this and it'll be a 2-for-1? I'm going to try with Kefnet, and this could be wrong. But the fact that we still have the Bolas, we have Enter the God-Eternals, potentially, is fine. And in this matchup, I would definitely be milling myself with Enter the God-Eternals, because we don't want to put any more instants or Phoenixes in their graveyard. Another radical idea. So that's 2 spells. Do they have a third? They do have a third. Alright, they used 2 burn spells on my take action, please. On my Kefnet. So they're going to get their other Phoenix back. I'm going to go down to Mathasar 5. Jeez. We are going to have to Bolas here. And, oh, we're still dead. Because I didn't draw another land. Well, that sucks. That does suck. So, in this matchup, I definitely want Cast Downs, Moment of Cravings, Cries. I don't think I want Widespread Brutalities. I think I do want Duress, as well as Negate. That's a lot to bring in. Elizabeth, too slow. Liliana, potentially too slow, not entirely sure. Rampage still good. Narset's still good. So this is the issue, really. So we have 9 cards that we want to cut. We definitely want Cast Down, because it kills the things. We definitely want Moment of Craving, because it kills the things. Maybe it's just too much removal. I don't know if they have Drakes. I have to believe that they have some number of Drakes. So I think what I'm going to do is not bring in the Moment of Cravings. I'm going to be going first, so my Counterspell is still fine. The rest is still helpful. Narset's still good because they try and draw cards. My 4-drop's still good, this is still good. If I had to get rid of something, it'd probably be Liliana. She's very slow. Commence the Endgame draws, but it is relatively slow. What else would I get rid of? I guess Angrath's Rampage is not targeted, so it's more difficult to deal with. Maybe actually it's just Negate. Yeah, I don't think Negate is actually as important here. Also, why does it have a lightning effect? It's incredibly strange. Dress, Cast Down, Thingamajig. Is that correct? Yeah, the games aren't going to go long, so maybe that is correct. Oh, I ran out of time, which I think means it didn't save any of my changes. I hope it saved some of my changes. It did not. Oh well. Well, we got... Oh, okay. Sure. Our opponent had to mulligan. Pay attention to the amount of time you have. If I can impart unto you any lessons, let it be that. Spell Pierce, incredibly rude. Hopefully we get a blue source here so I can play Narset. Although if we don't and they play a Electromancer, then I can kill it. No, Discovery. Yeah, so I'd like to play Narset. Probably not gonna happen. Is this my second game? Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I do have Bedevil at instant speed, so that's fine. I mean, I did keep a 2-lander. Oh, would you try and kill you? Dive down? Nope, just dies. Cool, cool. Guess I'll cast this. I need some lands. I need to not die. Another Electromancer. Hello. How are you doing today? If it's not a land, it's going bye-bye. That's a land, so I'm keeping it. I'm going to just play Bolas here. Blocks, forces a discard. Obviously they could discard a Phoenix, which would suck, but you can block the Phoenix. And they discarded a red source. Now obviously they could go ahead and kill my Bolas with a Lava Coil, but it's a 2-for-1. Even if it was just a mountain. Cracking Drake. So once again, if it's not a land, it's going to the bin because I'd like to enter the God-Eternals. Thank you very much. And we are just going to mill ourselves. Luckily they have no... luckily they had no untapped mana. And, yeah, I do need to kill them at some point. Okay. So, we milled Liliana, another enter, and a couple lands. What's also nice is that this allows us to flip our Azcanta immediately, which is pretty cool. Radical idea, sure. So, yeah, there's several reasons why we wanted to mill ourselves there. And the fact, actually, the fact that we included Kev's Insight in the deck now makes it a lot more likely that we're going to want to be milling ourselves with any of the God-Eternals. So I can take this if I want. Do I want to? Sure. Transform. I'm going to go ahead and play Narset. I'm not actually going to cast it like that. Yes. I'm going to do it like that. The reason I'm doing it like that is because it leaves up maximum stuff. Well, they countered it anyway. And now I can play another Narset. So...
I train every day, meditate, and prepare.
I think I want to Sabotage. I already have a Commence the Endgame. Sure, I think Sabotage is better. No attacks, because I want to protect my Narset. Obviously, they could use things to kill my Narset, but nope, they decided to do that. Can't draw, though. Ooh, Dragon God, don't mind if I do. So I can Dragon God and just end that creature. Cool. Fantastic. Okay, now we should make those changes faster. So we're going second, so the duresses aren't actually good main. Going second, I did see those, so I actually do want cast downs. I don't want any Moment of Craving. I don't need duress. Well, nah. Brutality, no. I do still want Cries. I still think Elsterborn and Liliana are a little slow here. Narset was good this game, because I did forget that they want to draw a lot. Did I? No, I didn't say she was bad here. We're going second, so I actually think it's going to be harder for us to get value off of these. So do I just drop them entirely? I think so. It's a bit strange, but I think so. One match one. Let's see if we can win match two. Excuse me. This is okay. It's not great, especially if our Azcanta gets countered, but we're going second, so we're relatively likely to get third land. Also, we have Cry the Canarium. Yeah, so I do think it's correct to keep this here. Not entirely sure, obviously. Kept that on top, sure. Guess I'll play Watery Grave tap. Didn't actually matter, but now we have all three of the mana that we need. So we can Azcanta into Narset. Okay, well, that doesn't show anything. So they're going to counter this, which is totally fine. And I essentially just want to run them out of counters, so I'm able to just play the cards I want to play. Goblin Electromancer. So this can get countered, which sucks. But I think that's fine if I just go ahead and force them to sack a creature. Let's see. Does get countered. So I'm actually glad I did that instead of the Narset. I'm going to play this tapped. And of course, if my opponent does get a Phoenix down, I can cry it up. Nope. It's going to be, nope, not a draw. Very possible that I'm going to get countered. I think the correct decision here is God-Eternal. Because they need to use two things, because they still don't... Well, cool. Didn't have a response to that, so they decided to call it quits. So, the deck as it is now seems to be doing a little bit better. I do think the sideboard still needs a decent amount of work, considering it seems like we're trying to bring too much in, and... No, we're trying to bring too much in throughout, like, all of the games that we play, and we want to try to minimize that. So I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that. You can do that by essentially really hardcore focusing on a single matchup. But I feel like there are better ways, and I'm going to try and do a little bit more research on that to decide exactly what I'm going to be doing there. But yeah, I think the deck is moving in the right direction, but it still needs a little time. We go and open a pack. I do want to ask. Arena has been glitchy. Has it been glitchy for anyone else? That's not the question I was going to ask. I do want to ask though. What do you all want me to play? I was not sure what to play today, so that's kind of why I'm playing Bolas. That's one of the reasons. I also love playing this deck. But I've been like frozen by choice, right? There's so many decks, and I just do not know what to play. So in the pinned comment for this video, there's going to be what should I play next. And when this video goes live tomorrow, I'm also going to simultaneously put up a community post saying, what should I play next? If you really want your deck to be played, comment in both of them. So yeah, cool. I don't know, man. There's so many cool decks. You know, Boar God, I'm still trying to get these two garbage decks to work. It's very hard. Also, you know what? Let me know as well if you are fine with like doing videos that were popular again, or doing decks that were popular again, because Stuff Dies did really great, and I love playing that deck, right? The issue is I don't know if people want to see it again because of the fact that I already made a video on it. So I'm not sure. So I guess I have 3 questions for you. 1, is Arena been really slow for you lately? 2, what deck should I play? And 3, how much are you fine with me playing the same decks again? Obviously, I would give them time, but you know, those are the 3 questions. I hope you can help me out there, and of course, I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander, Croft, Zin, and Rexel for the continued support. If you'd like to join them in supporting me over on Patreon, you can find links at that down in the description, or you can just hit the join button, become essentially a $5 patron just via YouTube. In the description, you'll also find links to my Antwerp account where I host all of my deck lists, including this one, as well as the link to my Discord where we chat and play games, and it's a ton of fun. It's also the easiest way to ask me questions, because you can just at me, and then I am like, hey, okay, cool. I go to the specific server, and it's whatever. I'm incredibly hungry, so I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, go and tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, cast one of those comments in the comment section down below, pass the turn and the vid to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.